Welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org, Consequence of Sound, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thanks for joining us. I'm so excited to have as my guest LP, who's got a brand new single called The One That You Love, and a live album that we're going to be talking about too. Hey, it's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah. Really enjoying the new single. Let me tell you that first. I know there's some fun little stories behind this one too. That one involves you writing and recording this in Mexico and with the trio, as the press release will tell us, that's behind maybe one of your biggest hits so far with Lost on You. And I thought we'd start there. What makes that collaboration special? What makes that songwriting partnership something that you'd want to return to?
I feel like I've extensively collaborated with many different people. I've had like collaborations with people that have been hits that I've never worked with again, or never wanted to work with again, or whatever. But I usually I just think with this one, it feels like, there's a lot of just emotional closeness that we have as friends. And I think, these songs really, the songs we've written together really mean something to me and represent me properly. And I feel like these guys really kind of allow me to be myself, and Mike also as a production partner, he's he's a person that knows how to kind of bring out the best in my voice in production and, the songs. And so, I don't know. I just think that we're almost like a band. It feels like we're a band in our third record or something like that, and it feels like the right move.
I mean, there is something to say, obviously, as you're pointing out here, every writing partnership can be different, and the ingredients and the product that comes out of that is obviously different. I mean, there's some kind of magic in partnerships, right?
Oh yeah. I think, one of my many heroes, like Keith Richards, is his thing is two people is the best for songwriting. I think I would agree with him. I think that, I like three as well, but I definitely two is great. It's like this kind of, it's just nice to be able to bop shit off of other people. I think it really helps, even if it's just checking in with that person to kind of formulate your direction in a way. I don't know. I think really, to me, songwriting wise, very kind of the collaborative spirit is inherent for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll echo that a little bit. I mean, I'm not knocking anybody here, but when I see that a song is written by 7 to 10 different people, I always wonder, whose song is this? What is this anymore? And that's some ignorance of me not knowing how that process works either. But there's
involved in that too. I was involved. I won't name the song that it happened on because it's a known song. But I had a song that was the manager of one of the writers was on the freaking, in the on the list of writers on the first printing of the record. And I was like, all right, cool. I saw him there, So it's just wild what can happen, I don't know, it's I'm always I try to be I don't ever split hairs as far as who wrote what, whoever's in the room, I believe is part of what the deal is, to an extent, obviously, there's just but I think sometimes you can't underestimate the vibe of a person in a room, even if they've only kind of guided a couple of things that you places you went or a word here or there, sometimes that's just a good, it's a good energy in the room. And it's and songs are energy, it's even the biggest songwriters in the world don't just shit out hits, over and over again. It's it's a very, I think, a spiritual craft in a way, and I say, if, God is in the room or whatever, it's it makes a big difference.
Yeah, you do your craft well. And I'll bring it back to this new song with The One That You Love too, because you know, you've talked about in a previous interview that, you know, this was something that you allowed to conjure all the genres that you love. And I think you've talked about it before too, about how, you know, you can be seen as writing in the pop world when you're really a rock, you know, a rock musician at a heart, you know, talking about Keith Richards, obviously that I think that goes in there. So going into this song, we'll ask specifically about this one too. Like, how much do you have to consider all of that as you're writing the song? Like, you do want it to represent these different worlds, but it still needs to be, you know, with that rawness in it.
I don't know. I think, you know, I've gotten to the place for myself where I truly feel like I've blurred the genres enough with my own career and my own persona that I don't feel beholden to anybody, for one, or like I don't, like, because I'm not, but I don't feel like I have to worry about like staying in my lane, you know. So I just let it rip, you know, and let the chips fall where they may, you know. Like, I just feel, and it's very freeing. It's nice because I feel like I have, you know, I have a little bit of everything. I got like this like kind of melting pot of all these genres in my sound, and then I just kind of go where my heart goes, which is nice, you know. And it took a minute to get there. I mean, even like, you know, my first like 3 major label deals were like a bit of a wash because they couldn't understand that. I couldn't even understand it. You know, they wanted a clear direction, you know. And I think a lot of people are like blurring genre lines these days too. It's like less rigid, and it's nice because it's really, you know, it's about a song. I mean, you know, why do you need to like stick to any kind of genre anyway? Because, you know, I mean, it's like your sound. Isn't being at home great?
I got one too.
Yeah. Orson, do me a favor. Shush. You know, I feel like, where were we again?
You're talking about, why does anybody have to even consider genre? Why does anyone have to stay in that lane?
Yeah, they don't, you know. It's just like, I think that because, like, you know, if you're like a voice, you know, like, I mean, you've heard it, everybody's heard it. Like, if you got like a certain singer, like sometimes every song starts to sound the same just because it's that singer, and then they're staying in their what they normally do, and you know, they don't need to, because you know, I know, like, you know, like the guy from Journey, you know, it's like, fucking know that's a Journey song, god damn it, you know. It's like, can we curse around here? I mean, who's gonna stop us? But yeah,
Absolutely.
it's like always a you know, I think a lot more people are kind of straying off their, you know, whatever the path of like having to stick to something because you know, it's dictated by record labels or whatever it is. You know, I think that, you know, songs are ultimately the ultimate currency in whatever, and I think a great song will not be stopped by the fact that it's colors outside the lines of someone's, you know, self-dedicated or industry-dedicated genre sound. You know, so it doesn't matter.
Right. I mean, it used to be, you know, genre was tied in as much as the T-shirt that we were wearing, you know, as identification or something like that. And I know seems like if we look back on history, the shuffle button really kind of changed the game on that. And thank goodness that it did, you know. That, like, I'll bring up the live album because you can really get a sense of that in Live in Moscow. Like, if you ever had a doubt of who you were, like, this is a perfect representation. And it's not easy to make a live album that connects in a way. And I think every artist wants that. I mean, half the time you hear people talk about they want to make their studio albums more like they are live, but the live album comes out and it doesn't. This is an amazing record. I mean, just, it's one of those things, like the first time I hear it, it's like, oh my God, you know, this is what's going on here.
No,
so, you know, that's got to be a part of it too, because it almost sounds like this is like a rock opera in a way. Was it designed like that?
That, I mean, it wasn't designed like that. I am designed like that. I am a rock opera. In, like, I mean, no question about it. That's how I write. That's how, you know. But, you know, it's just like, I don't necessarily, like, you know, advertise that because I don't feel like I have to, for one. But I do think that when you see my live show, that's what you get. You know, like, I'm like a rock artist, really, but in this kind of like, alternative-ish, pop-ish kind of like operatic bend to the vocal-ish thing. And oh yeah, my lady says it's because I know how to write good music. Thank you from Green Academy.
So it becomes pop because it gets popular. But
see, I'm gonna just hand it over to her in 2 seconds. But yeah, I think that it's that's the nature of how I sing must dictate that, but it's also there's like a big anthemic bend to like a lot of the songs.
Mm-hmm. But when you're putting together this set specifically, though, I mean, it sounds like there was more thought that went into it than just here's my songs. I mean, this thing does play like a big arc.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, well, we put that together with musical director Stacy Jones, who's a great musical director, and that's the thing. It's like you have when you build a show. That's another thing that I think also starts to seep into your sound, because it's like you start getting bigger. And then I remember, like, before I put out Heart to Mouth, there was a Lost in You record, and I just remember thinking, like, during some of the bigger, I mean, everything was kind of like, there wasn't a lot of ballads on that record, but I'm always curious when an artist goes off into doing more ballads when they've been like kind of like a rock act, and I felt quite the opposite. I felt like this responsibility to keep this kind of like, the embers, like, and the fuel going. And that's like, I think Heart to Mouth, like, wrote a lot of like bigger songs, in order to keep that going. And even like I'm working on a record right now and I feel the same way. There's like, I don't really believe in writing songs for a live capacity, because I don't know. I feel like I was taught that a long time ago, whether it's right or not. But like, it seemed like, that was a good way to be like kind of like in a bar band. Sorry to say that, but like, it's like you need to write songs that are like crafted to be a great song on stage and off. Mm-hmm. But I think that but there is a responsibility to me to build a show. It's like a performance. It's like, I am going to write a rock opera at some point. I just feel like right now I'm dealing with what's in front of me.
Yeah, I was hoping you would do that at some point. I was going to ask anyway, but and well, I'm not contradicting you here and anything, but you do find a couple of moments to slip in a few of those bar band tricks, and I mean that in the in the covers. Like Sex on Fire is on here, Painted Black. Now, Painted Black, that made sense to me a lot, especially given what that song, the song that you're coming out of, and I apologize, I'm blinking on that. Sounded like, because that made sense. Sex on Fire, I hadn't looked at the track list, so that was a real surprise to me. What was the thought that went into that?
We were just like, I was trying to draw some parallels of as far as like, of the whole thing, of that it's a rock show, ultimately. Like that's the thing. I think that's what I was talking to this director, the musical director, about, when I just felt like, I felt like I was explaining that to him and we were like, well, why don't we try to, because I've always wanted to do covers, but I figured it was nice to work in snippets of covers, just to get people, I remember, we worked in a Lauryn Hill song instead of of that song at one point, X Factor or whatever, and it was interesting because it was like, it didn't go over as well in Europe, because I didn't feel like people were getting that song as much, so Sex on Fire, I don't know. It's just, I think I've always wanted to like work in a couple of covers, and then, you get into that one and it just kind of stuck. It's like a nice palate cleanser. Orson, do me a favor. Come on. Wow. But yeah, I don't know, it's just like, just having fun with it, man. I think Black, I'm a huge Stones fan for sure, and so that's always and it's also so universal. Like, nobody doesn't know that song.
Right. No, they were perfect moments, and it is that moment where it just kind of builds in a different way. I mean, I can keep throwing the compliments on this record. I love this record. I really, really do.
Oh, I feel like the other person that had this strong reaction was my manager, and which I'm sure you guys would get along. But yeah, it was really like. It was really, I mean, I always wanted to do it, but I didn't, I didn't picture this year in a lot of ways, but I didn't picture doing it this year, but it was a good idea.
Yeah. I don't want to pass up the opportunity here to talk about some bigger picture stuff too, because obviously, you've got a very big audience in Moscow as you show right here, but there's also the side of things. You're releasing a live album, a Russian, set live album in 2020 when that's a big political. Do you consider the political statement that goes along with that?
You know what? I honestly don't, because I feel like it's, what I was trying to convey, especially with like releasing a Moscow record, is that, music goes down all over the world, man. It's like, and people appreciate music all over the world. And, I mean, when I first started like doing well, in Russia, people were like, really? You're doing well in Russia. Like everyone's cool with you in Russia. I was like, yeah, I think they are, So I stick to the music,
Mm-hmm.
I stick to people. I care about people, and music, and I do care about politics, of course, but I do believe that, when I look at my own country and I look at like all the good people in it, and I look at what like, and I'm aware of what's going on, and then I see all the other sides of people that I don't care for, and and who's in charge and stuff. I can separate it. I can separate, people that I relate to, that have that we are just enjoying music together, even if they're not like-minded when they leave the venue. It's just like something that I choose to kind of cultivate and believe in, that like that we are all we can all connect on a certain level, even if we don't connect on other levels, and maybe we do as well connect
Mm-hmm.
on those levels, but it's like not something that I'm personally willing to delineate as far as music goes. Like I feel like that's what culture, that's what art is about, is another tier of connection for us when we are, often just absolutely like, separated by our leaders, and, also sometimes by our personal beliefs. But I think that I'm trying always to find a way out the window with music toward, the goodness in myself and others. So to me, it's like a perfectly great and timely thing to do, as far as like just to remember that, someone like me can like, get 6,000 people in a room to listen to my music, even in the current, state of the world. And I can get even more in the room. I could have done that a couple of nights, and it's mind blowing to me. And it's, I think it's inspiring to me, and to, I hope, other people, and there's people wanting, experiences in other countries that are not something that they get to see all the time.
Right. Now, I was particularly happy that it was that, not that I have anything for against, but it was just that opportunity to show a lot of what you're saying too. I mean, my thought is, people do care about people. Most people in the world don't let their government speak for them anyway. They just want to live their life and everything. And I think that gets lost in the big conversation, so.
And we talk about that all the time. I mean, I think we like don't, I mean, again, I was struck when I first started going to Russia. I was like, oh, wow, everyone's cool here and sweet, like, I mean, obviously not. It's like, but I was encountering a lot of very good vibes and everything, and just people wanting to, just loving the music and having nothing else to say about it.
Right. Well, it is a beautiful, beautiful testament, the entire package right there. I do want to quickly hit on a few of the other things that you've had kind of seep out in the last over the last year. First off, you're part of Grey Daze, which is the pre-Linkin Park Chester Bennington. You're on the song called Amends. How did you end up getting a part of with that group of people?
Well, I didn't know, but I guess Chester loved Lost in You, listened to Lost in You, loved my voice, and was like telling people about it. And then, those guys wanted to put out a record of that stuff, and they were looking into duets, and I think they just were like, I bet Chester would be kind of stoked to have LP on the track, because he was like really into her stuff and whatever. And so they reached out, and I was just like, it was kind of wild to like, to hear. I had no idea that he even knew I was alive, let alone liked my music. So it was you know, pretty cool for me too. And singing with him, you know, posthumously was just something that was like very wild. And his voice is so, like, I already thought he had a great voice and appreciated it, but like after I sang with him, I was really like, wow, this guy's voice was really, really special.
Yeah, what an interesting, powerful moment, you know, and that you had to be a part of. The other one, you were on Morrissey's cover album, California Sun. What was it like working with Moz?
Well, I mean, the best part was really just like hanging out with him. You know, I feel like, you know, I don't feel like I was necessarily like, you know, it was supposed to be a duet. Didn't feel like it was that much of a duet, even though I don't think it was because of Morrissey. I know it wasn't. I think it was because of the producer who, you know, but that's another story that I won't get into. But yeah, Morrissey, what a legend, you know, and like, and, you know, I don't want to hear about like the political part, like, you know, like we connected on music and about like art and we, you know, I just like, you know, got to like kind of drink with this guy who's like a badass. I was like, wow, you know, and like just like talk music with him. I mean, I really listened because he's just like a kind of like an audiophile kind of guy, you know, and he's just like, you know, he was playing my video in between like Bowie and the Ramones, like at the beginning of his shows when he was on tour. And that I was just like, wow, holy crap, you know, and I was very like, you know, chuffed about that, I guess, you know, as I said. But he's just like, you know, he's an insane poet, an insane writer. And I was just, you know, honored to be on the record with him just on an artistic level. And just getting to like kind of like, you know, bask in his intellect for a few days was, you know, quite a treat.
Yeah, I've got this. There's this interest I have. I mean, I'm a very big, Morrissey music fan, Smiths, etc. What you alluded to, the political side of it, is very contradictory to the company he keeps, and I notice that a lot. A lot of the people that, you know, he's close with, that he's friends with, that he collaborates with, and I always thought that's a really interesting side of things. So I do wonder what that's like, being just kind of in the room with him, you know.
And it's confusing, you know, like it's confusing as you make your way in this business, you know, with things like that, you know. And again, I'm not of the school of like head in the sand, but I am a live and let live kind of person, you know. And you know, I think in this day and age, you can blame no one for anything at this point. I mean, you know, you have your own side, but like it's just like I didn't walk in his shoes. I don't know what his deal is. So, but I really. You know, I've always liked his work, and it was pretty cool. And it's funny because when he asked me to do "It's Over," he didn't know that I'd already done a version of it for myself. So I was just like, hell yeah, I love that song. You know, like it's a great song.
And you know, I'll use that word that we did earlier, and I'm not the first one to bestow it upon you, but when you think about operatic voices, I mean, you couldn't have chosen two more perfect, you know, artists right there. I mean, the two of you all just, you know, if there was a way to battle it out, I would pay money to see that.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Yeah, and then I'll just quickly point out, I know last year, Celine Dion, you wrote to Change My Mind, for Celine's latest record. And again, that's got to just go back to like, what a dream of a career.
Yeah, I mean, it was really cool. It's like, you know, like everybody's sending me all this because, you know, she kept talking about me on TV, and I was like, oh wow, you know. And I mean, you know, I've always been an admirer of her voice for sure. I wish I would have known she was going to choose a song, because I really would have like kind of written one for her more, because that song, although I do like that song, I feel like we could have wrote a better one together. But yeah, man, she nailed it, and she's just like, I don't know her, but she seems so freaking nice. You know?
Right. Well, like how you just slipped that out in the universe, that you could write another one for her specifically.
Yeah, I could, and I would. I think I should. I would.
You did mention at the beginning of the interview that you're working on the new record. We have the first single. Well, we have a single, the one that you love, which I'm assuming is part of these sessions and everything. What
Yeah.
can we expect? I mean, what can you say so far about this next record?
Well, it's you guys are gonna play an acoustic version that I did for you guys, right?
I
Is
think
that
so.
what-
Yeah, that's what I'm told as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think this song, I'm still working on kind of making it like sound different or like a little bit like the acoustic version because it's a belter. I'm used to like, you can see me kind of like straining to restrain myself in this acoustic version, So I'm still learning how to sing it acoustically in a way, but I do, this song kind of got inspired when we were in Mexico recently, like writing. We wrote like 8 songs there for the record, but it's like we were like at a restaurant across the street from where we were like recording, and it was just like this guy was singing like ranchero music,
Mhm.
like he had the little nudie suit on, the little guitar, and the hat and everything. He just like I'm still like honoring him, but he just like he was so cool and had all this passion. So when we went back over to record to write, we just like kind of I think carried his spirit with us a little bit, and that song kind of popped out, and it just it felt good at the time. I've been feeling very creative, for a while now, so just kind of just kept it moving.
Mm-hmm. Well, I look forward to what else came out of these sessions and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we're all looking maybe a 2021 release on a new record. I mean, I think that's the optimistic view.
We're looking at like March. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, but I think we'll probably release another single possibly before the end of the year, but not sure as far as like, because things are doing well with this song right now, so we'll see, but there'll be more out ASAP.
Awesome. I can't wait for it. In the meantime, LP, thank you so much. Congratulations on this song, especially congratulations from Live in Moscow. I'm going to go listen to it again.
Yeah, I'm so excited to like it. It makes me happy.
Definitely. It was great talking to you. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
All right, take care of yourself out there.
Cool.
Be careful.
You too.